Welcome back to the Crave Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is 2.5 cancellations in the making for everybody. Welcome back to the Crave Show with JRuss and Chris, and we have two Chris's today. Uh, I don't know how common the name Chris is, but we doubled down. Yeah, 2.5 times JRuss almost flaked on this exact episode, and what I was saying was it's almost like I don't even like Chris Frayer. I just invited him on the podcast, but then I wanted to sabotage the podcast so that he wouldn't actually be a guest. But
Yes, thank
I,
you.
I 2.5 times I tried and I failed, but here we are. Yeah,
We
so
forced
Chris
it. We
Frayer.
forced your hand.
Yeah, man, I was right. I was deep in a Dota game, and I was already late for my own podcast, and yeah, the boys waited for me. So, all right. So, how you guys doing? Before we get into it, how's it going?
Great.
Doing good. Doing good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Frayer, you're currently in Colorado. You're dressed warmly.
I'm dressed warmly. It's getting cold here.
Yeah. All right. So, Frayer, do you have any idea when we met?
When we met,
Yeah,
I gotta think.
I have no recollection. Just
20.
Where did y'all meet?
13, 14 ish.
yeah.
Probably.
I mean, it could have been skydiving. It could have been tunnel. I mean, Chris has been around the tunnel about as long as I have. Like, I really don't know. It's not super critical. I just thought of it the other day. Like when I don't know when I met people. But okay, Frayer, give us your awesomeness, man. Tell us all about yourself.
I am awesome. Everything
Yeah.
else.
We've established that.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. I work at the franchise tunnel in Colorado Springs. Been skydiving since 2007. I have an awesome wife who is also a skydiver, which makes life easy. I love all things body flight. It's all I do. If the things I did that we do weren't so awesome, I would be a big loser because it's all I do. I have no variance in my life. It's just skydiving and tunnel flying, a little skiing. That's it.
Yeah, I feel you.
Where did you do your first skydive?
At a drop zone that doesn't exist anymore called Skydive Greensburg.
Where's that? Where was that?
It's between Indianapolis and Cincinnati.
And why did you go jump that day?
It's a good story. So before I was a skydiver, I was a rock climber. I was just about as deep into rock climbing as I am into skydiving. I met my now wife at the rock climbing gym, and we dated on Wednesdays for the first year and a half that we dated, because on Thursday I was packing up the truck and I was on the road by Friday to climb Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and be back on Monday to work for a few days, and then we'd see each other on Wednesday, and she did the same thing skydiving. And then I got old and my hands started falling apart, and I was getting out of rock climbing, and I told Jen that I was getting out of rock climbing, and she said, well, you better find something to do with your time, because this thing where I can do whatever I want on the weekends really works for me. And if you don't have a hobby that does that for you, I'm not going to sit here and listen to some guy tell me I can't go skydiving every weekend. Do you want to try skydiving? And so she, on her birthday, my skyversary is her birthday, so it's easy to remember her birthday. She took me skydiving.
Wait, that is so awesome. Hold on. You can't just skate over that. That is awesome. He didn't say it's easy. Her birthday makes it easy to remember his skyversary. He said his skydiving anniversary makes it easy to remember her birthday.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we can't all sit here and pretend as skydivers that we are not just
Amen.
a little bit
Amen to that.
involved in ourselves.
Yes.
Even when we love someone, we're still just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
The fact that I remember,
I like the honesty.
That's what we should be getting out of this, is that I remember my wife's birthday. That should be the takeaway.
That is the message.
That's good. Good job, man. Nice work.
Yeah, the last thing she ever bought me for her birthday was my cat A.
Oh,
yeah. Never bought anything for her birthday again. It was weird.
So she said, "Do you want to go Do you want to try it?"
Yeah, you want to go skydiving? Yeah.
And
I went.
And you
my
went?
feet hit the ground after that first jump, and I thought, I don't know what's gonna happen with this chick, but this is the new thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now she's your wife, and you're still skydiving.
Now she's my wife. We still skydive. We don't fight about money. We just fight about whose turn it is to spend money. Like it's great.
Do y'all jump together a lot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was on the record. She was on the world record. She was on what else? She was on the she went to the sequential the California record.
You're talking about head down? What are you talking about? Which
Yeah,
record?
the big head down record we just did, and then the
Yeah.
Cali head down, the 100-way, 103-way.
Okay.
She was on both.
Is she on the head up as well? Project 19.
She was on Project 19. Yeah, she doesn't. Jen doesn't like flying head up. She doesn't want anything to do with it. You can force her to do it, and she can do it, but she's not going to go out of her way and get on an airplane and fly someplace to go fly head up.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So roughly, how many skydives you up to now?
I got to think 3,000 or 4,000. Stopped counting
Okay.
at 1,000, and that was before I met you.
Yeah.
So it's been, it was, we were jumping at Start Skydiving in Ohio, so it's been a decade and change ago.
And you've got quite a history with wind tunnels. So how did you start in the wind tunnel, and how did that progress?
So wind tunnels, that's a good story too. You guys know Tyler Rummer? We know Tyler. Everybody knows Tyler Rummer. You know Tyler JRuss.
I
Has
don't.
you ever met Tyler Rummer?
I have not.
So Tyler Romer was he worked for American or United, running up big boy job in an office doing the thing, and Chris Dixon had come by a boogie to organize years and years and years ago. Yeah, I see you smiling. Yeah. We won't go down that road, but he was there.
Yeah,
And you want to go down? I'll go down that road with you, but. He was there.
I kind of want y'all to go down that road because I have no idea why you're making those faces. All right, we won't go down that road. Go ahead.
That might be better off air. We'll see.
Go ahead, Chris.
He told Tyler that he had a tunnel instructor job in the old Orlando tunnel. Tyler was, making good money at United or whatever, and his very good friends convinced him what he should do is quit his very good job and take an $8 an hour job as a tunnel instructor. And so he did that, and he went down to Orlando, worked there for a while, became a manager, got shipped up to Chicago, which was like 2 hours from where we were living. We were living in Indianapolis. And so we started going to the Chicago tunnels. Tyler was a AGM there, and we ran out. We liquidated an IRA to buy our first block of tunnel time, and then that ran out in half the time we thought it was going to last. And Jen, once again, said, Jen's fault again, you know what you should do? You should be a tunnel instructor. They get staff time. And so I said, Tyler, I would like to be a tunnel instructor. And he said, okay, I'll see what I can do about that. And so he got me an FITP in my first job in a tunnel in Naperville, Chicago. And then I transferred to Rosemont about a year after that. I was there for a couple of years, and then I transferred down to Tampa. And then it got really crazy with iFly, where they started doing things that I just could no longer support. And luckily, Danny had moved out to Colorado, and she had met the guys that opened the franchise tunnel here. And she had called me and asked, said, they're building, it's going to happen, right? The ground's broke, stuff's going in. You want a job here? And I was like, fuck yeah. I totally want a job there. And it was like 11 days after I was sure that this tunnel was going to open that I quit iFly, the corporate side. I called them and said, I'm out. Peace.
What were some of the things they were doing that you were really bothersome to you?
I think JRuss has experienced some of this. It's the company's founded on skydivers, and they got to a point where it's like they didn't even want them in the building.
Mm.
It didn't feel like they wanted them to be there. There was a whole pointing the finger at outside coaches for things that happened that were bad. And, I've seen the videos, and I'm a T4. I've been doing this for a really long time, and my opinion differs significantly from their opinion on what those videos show, what was happening in those videos, and what caused those incidents.
Mm.
And so I just couldn't, I also couldn't. The policies changed so fast and went back and forth so much that I felt like I was lying to my friends. Like one day I'd say this, and the next week it'd be like, "Oh no, not that, this," and then it just got to be like, man, my life is this sport, and I'm not going to continue to to dig a hole and put my reputation and my friends in weird places because I told them this last week and it's not true this week.
Yeah.
I just
Felt
can't
like
do
you were
that
pissing in
anymore.
the pool.
I just can't do that anymore. It's it just wasn't worth the headache anymore.
So how long have you been at in Colorado?
We've been here to be coming up on 4 years. Yeah, 3 or 4 years. We moved here Thanksgiving. This Thanksgiving will be the fourth Thanksgiving we spent here, so 3 years, I guess.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and it's
And
great.
you're the what is your are you the GM?
No, no, I am the lead instructor slash AGM slash maintenance guy slash. It's a franchise tunnel. We wear many hats, but I am not the GM. I let Danny do all the important grown up work, and I just run around the tunnel, grumpy and fixing things.
Yeah.
Chris,
So
do you mind? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just gonna say, so you're in the tunnel a lot. You spend a lot of time actually in the tunnel. You're
Yeah,
taking classes,
yeah.
you're coaching,
Still
you're
take.
training,
Yeah, I
you're
still
doing all
take
that stuff.
first timers. I quite a
Yeah.
bit of coaching. I've got 2 teams right now, so
Yeah. Nice. What were we gonna say, JRuss?
Well, in a franchise tunnel, the lead instructor is still required to work.
yeah, it's crazy like that.
Yeah. Uh, I think I wanted to just point out that Chris has left out quite a bit in the tunnel history for sure, and a good chunk of the skydiving history as well, being on a lot of records, um, Florida state records, national records, world records, competing in dynamic, I believe, in also in VFS and maybe MFS as well. Um, so there's a bunch of on the competition side as well as and big events. I wanted to ask though, Chris, one of the questions that I had written down beforehand was just if you would just talk about the owners of the Colorado Tunnel a little bit, like what's their story, just briefly, and how did they decide to open a tunnel?
So they all went to the Air Force Academy together. They graduated together, I think, '79 from the Air Force Academy. They went and did their Air Force stuff. They were friends in the academy. They all ended up back in Colorado Springs. Um, one of one of the owners was, I can't remember if it was a commandant or that he was high up at the academy. He worked at the academy for a while. And while he was there, he was trying to get a tunnel. This was years ago, trying to get a tunnel opened for the academy at the academy. Couldn't make that happen. And then after they kind of retired and got a couple other businesses they're running, they all got together and decided they would open a tunnel right across the. It was going to be closer to the academy, but the park that they just opened this year, so we'd have been like 3 years behind. So we're just across 25 from the Air Force Academy. That was their big motivation, was to get military and stuff into the tunnel and get back to the Air Force Academy and make some money. And it's a very military and experienced flyer tunnel, right? It's
Yeah.
freaking great, man. It's
That's awesome, man.
there a couple weeks ago. I had Brewer and Katie were in town for some Red Bull stuff, and then backing them up, Tech showed up, and then Tech's had been there about 2 days, and Josh showed up, Ruiz Velasco showed up, and it was like,
Wow.
man, I'm in a boogie. I'm going to work every day, a boogie. I just get to see my friends. I mean, it was a blast, man. It was so much fun. Every day I went in, it was a new face I hadn't seen in a while. It's great. It was awesome. Yeah, and that's
cool.
that's the goal, right? That's what we want to build. We got to keep the tunnel open. So there's got to be work, and we got to charge money, and you can't just give it away. But I want to go to work and see my friends every day. I want to have a good time.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's really cool.
I feel like, I don't know if did the owners ever check out European tunnels, or did you and Danny sort of consult? Because Chris Fikes, I know that you've never been there, but they have a little bar restaurant on the side. You can after you're done flying, you can hang out. The viewing area is stacked up. It's similar to the tunnel in Bahrain, where there's like tiers of viewing areas. So there's tons of places to sit and hang out, and just coupled with the fact that you can get a beer or something, a bite to eat, makes for just a really nice experience overall as far as spending time there. Or of course, people who bring their kids and they want to chill out for a minute and have a just an environment. Whereas I feel like the corporate model was to put it on the first floor with a tiny viewing area, no team rooms, no like like you're more at Disneyland where they got to get you in and get you out in a like a doctor visit or something. And Yeah, it's a really nice model. Do you know, Chris? Did they leave that up to you guys or did they travel?
So the stadium seating, that's actually from iFly. Detroit has the same
Oh,
stadium
really?
seating. That generation of tunnel, that Gen 9 tunnel has that stadium seating. The bar is
Okay.
exclusively us. In Detroit, I don't know what they use that space for, but there's just like an empty space there. Like, and we decided, hey, you know what, we're gonna throw a bar in there, right? Like, we like to drink beer. We live in Colorado. There's good beer here. So we tossed a bar in there, and then we wanted to make sure, like, you're right. Like, when I was working in Tampa, the team room was a 4 foot wide by what 10 foot long closet that had they built a bench into the wall and hung a TV, and it
That's our
was
team room at San Antonio.
yeah okay. So okay, you know the kind of team
It's
room I'm talking
exactly
about,
what it is. You
right?
described it perfectly.
Yeah, and like that's not comfortable. That's not a good experience for people I want to hang out with. Like, I don't want to try and hang if they're in there. My friends come in and they're hanging out in the team room. I want to hang out with them, so I want to be in a comfortable team room. So we've got couches in our team room, and a good sized team room. It's about the size of this bedroom I'm sitting in. It's a good sized team room. It's got a garage door that goes up, so you can make the team room and the conference room all one big room if you need the space. But it was important to us to not just be we would prefer you walk by the front counter, leave your money, and go home place.
Mm.
That's not what we want, right? We want you to walk by the front counter, leave your money, and then hang out. Buy some beer, have a good time, enjoy flying, love what we do. You know, it's
Um,
it's important to us that way.
yeah, it makes a difference. And like when I'm there, when we train there, which we do in wintertime training whenever we get the chance, it's just I don't know, it's one of those sort of ineffable qualities about some tunnels, and the vibe's good, and you can kind of feel it when you walk in. Front counter people are just friendly to you, and when you get up there, one nice thing that I remember when we still were allowed to fly in Chicago, which it's been 3 or 4 years now of not being able to fly, but the last year, it was like, man, we would go there, and I would look around for anybody I knew, one familiar face. Like, is there an instructor here that was here last time, and we've only been gone for a week? Like, the turnover started getting incredibly bad, and even if they had said you can still come spend money here, they got to the point where they wouldn't let Steph and I coach. They wouldn't. It got pretty ridiculous. We can't do any of the spotting, but nobody can spot anything we do. There was one guy in the building who could have possibly worked with our groups, and it's just like I go to the Colorado Tunnel, and I recognize people when I get there, and the instructors are happy to be there. I mean, everybody's got their days, of course, and maybe some of them aren't happy to see me, but they're generally happy people. And you got somebody that can work with you, and I mean, it's what a tunnel experience is supposed to be. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. There was a time, I guess it's been 2 or 3 years ago now, like when we first opened, and maybe in the year after we opened. We've always been staffed the way we're staffed, right? Like right now, I've got, half my staff, half my instructing staff are trainers, right? Like my lowest level guy is a static level 3. That's the lowest guy I've got in the building. He's like
That's
man,
crazy.
we have to do stuff for him to like. That's like the bottom of the barrel, And we would get people call, and they would want to book time, and we were so confused because they would call and go, "So I want to book time. I'm learning head down. When can I fly? We'd be like, we don't know. When can you fly? They'd be like, well, when can I fly? Like, what do you mean when we're open these hours? What do you mean when can you fly? Well, when can we fly? Well, you can fly anytime that's open. When do you want to fly? Mornings or night? Like, yeah, but I'm learning head down. And we were just so confused because it never occurred to us how things had gotten out in the world, because we have our little microcosm of high level guys and we're just doing our thing. And finally we realized it was like, oh, yeah, we have 2 level 4s on pretty much every single day on every single shift all the time. And usually the person who's the manager that day is also a level 4. So you can just pick some times and come in and fly.
If
you
our
just
doors
tell
are
us when
open,
you want to
you
fly.
can fly.
Yeah.
As it turns out, we don't really care what you're doing. Just let us know when you get here and we'll sort it. Like, we got it covered. It's going to be okay. But it was really like, there were some really weird, confusing conversations that happened with customers because we were like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know when you can fly. When
You tell me. What's your schedule,
you have
bro?
dinner plans? Like, what are you talking about? Like, we're here all the time. We'll work around you. Just come on in.
I'm sitting at the computer and the scheduling program is open. Just tell me what you
Just tell me
want.
where you want to book it.
We're here for you, man. Like, just tell me.
But yeah, I guess it had gotten pretty thin out there, you know?
Okay. Let's do a little compare and contrast real quick with Colorado Springs and San Antonio. How many instructors do you currently have total?
12 or 13, including me.
That's fantastic. That's so awesome. When I first started at San Antonio back in 2018, we had 13 instructors. Now we have 5.
5?
And your lowest is a static level 3?
Yeah, I have 2 guys who are static level 3. Everybody else is a level 4 or higher.
Okay. I'm a T1. And then we have a static 3, an L2, and an L1. So we get so it would totally make sense if somebody called and said, hey, I want to fly head down. When can I fly?
Yeah, that would make sense because you're the only. Yeah, no. So I have 2 T4s. I have a T3.
Yeah.
I have 2 T2s, 3 T2s, T1, a bunch of level 4s, and then 2 level 3s.
That's great, man. That's
I
awesome.
think half or better than half of the staff, the instructing staff, are trainers.
That's so awesome. And I would imagine most of them are very good flyers.
Yeah, I think. Let me think. I think maybe there are maybe 3 guys that can't fully competently fly the entire dynamic dive pool.
Yeah. And are most of them still enjoying working? Are they good attitudes? Good, like, that's awesome.
So
Yeah.
the way we run a tunnel, like, I'm not here to like lock anybody into being a tunnel instructor the rest of their life. Like, I either made the greatest choice in the history of mankind to be an instructor at almost 50 years old, or I made a dreadful, terrible mistake. I'll let you know how it goes. But like, if someone's instructing and they don't want to be there, like, you've seen it.
You could totally tell.
I'm gonna find out what they want to do, and we're gonna help them make that change, because it's not good for anybody for them to just stay tunnel instructing and making everybody miserable. And we're gonna support them in whatever change they need to make. You need to go part-time, cool, go part-time. You need to quit for a while, cool. Like, what do you need us to do to help you when you're here love what we do? Because we sell air for a living. If you don't love what you do, that's a really hard sell. Like, the only reason people buy this from us is because we love it. They look at us and they go, man, it makes that guy so happy. Yeah. Sounds ridiculous, but I'm going to give it a try, because there's no way that guy can be that stoked about something and it'd be not cool. So I'm going to buy some air from these idiots. That's awesome. Then those people do the same thing, man. They fall in love with it and they turn around and more people do it.
Yeah.
But you have to be that kind of stoked. You can't be miserable flying and do a good job as a tunnel instructor.
So how old are you, Chris?
I'm 48.
You're 48. I'm 47.
I'll be 49 in January.
How old are you, JRuss? So
83?
JRuss is like 88 or something.
Eight-
He's so old, dude.
88, 89?
Something like that.
Something like that.
No, how old are you? 52,
4.
54.
54.
One of the Chris Fikes, one of the things that about Chris Frayer's tunnel that I think says a lot. It's a little bit reminiscent of the Utah tunnel in the quality of instructing, but also Chad's been there since maybe the first day. Andy Honnenbaum has been there since maybe the first day.
Yep.
Butters has been there years.
All of them are first day guys.
Yeah, like when you like they're sticking around, and you guys have been in business now 6 years.
4 years or 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Coming up on 4.
Yeah, maybe coming up on 4. I'm not real good with time. I'm not 100% sure how long I've lived in Colorado.
As a construct, it's a really slippery topic anyway.
Yeah.
So we don't
3 or 4-ish years. Not 5 yet. Not 5 yet for sure.
But I mean, the staff are sticking around, and the general manager Danny and Chris have just set up a good culture where people want to be.
Yeah, that says a lot.
Andre Gerner, he's a first day guy. Me, Danny, all first day. We got. I mean, there's quite a few people that have been there since at or before we turned the fans on the first time.
So,
dude, that makes me want to try to. That makes me want to try to put together a camp and bring some people up there.
Come on by.
Man, that would be nice.
We like
Chris, if we coordinated that when Steph and I are home, you could also come stay at the house, which is only a little more than an hour away from the tunnel.
Come over to the this come over to the house thing is an awful lot like this podcast thing.
Whatever he's about to say,
offer and cancel.
Asked him he can come up to the house anytime. He never obliges. No, I'm going home. I ain't going home. So speaking of the fans, a couple of years ago, my team was training at Colorado Springs, and take it away, Chris.
And one of the blades broke and destroyed an entire fan housing and part of another fan and made a big, giant mess. As it turns out, Chinese aluminum manufacturing does not live up to the exact specifications of American or Britain manufacturing. And when you switch manufacturers to save a buck, which we didn't get to make that decision. I won't mention who made that decision. I'm sure you can figure it out. Bad things happen. No one got hurt. Thank God. Everything was repairable. We rebuilt the tunnel. We ran at 80% for almost a year on the same fan and the same designed blades because they didn't have a new blade design, and it was either that or don't run at all. And then we snapped another one. 2 days. I mean, the new fan design, the new blade design was in the parking lot. And we snapped another one and chewed up another fan housing and went through all that again. And then we installed the new blades and hub set. And those things, if those break, I'm leaving tunnel flying forever because those things are monsters.
So I would like to, I want to flesh this out just a little bit in a way that Chris Frayer may not be able to because he's still working for a franchise of iFly. The tunnel in Detroit had the same issue. The blades broke. They destroyed the housing. iFly Corporate told Detroit, and you can correct me about any of this, Chris, but iFly Corporate told Detroit, it's your fault. You let coins go through the fans or something that broke the blades. At their cost, they replaced the blades with another set of blades of the same design and manufacturer. I don't know how long those lasted, but it wasn't very long into the future when Detroit blew a second set of fan blades, destroying housings. I don't know the status of their business during that time, but I can only assume that they lost quite a bit of money in that process. While then Colorado Springs has those same blades. They break. The two tunnels, I think, maybe got together, and Detroit realized, oh, that wasn't actually our fault. iFly Corporate tried to blame Colorado Springs again. I'm guessing there was some legal stuff in the background that we don't necessarily have to go into. But what's interesting, that Chris Frayer told a story about sort of cleaning up the mess and said, I went up and was servicing the fans, and we of course have to remove the blades on the fan that just broke. And I carried all four, or maybe four at a time. I carried these fan blades downstairs of the Chinese manufacturer.
Yeah.
When I got the replacement blades from UK, I think was the supplier, he could barely carry one blade up by himself.
Yeah.
And although you can't really see, you can kind of see it in the neck. Chris is a pretty thick dude. And so for him to only be able to carry one of those blades, that's, obviously 4 times the density of the material. And as a side note, where Steph and I used to work, which is the Denver tunnel, kind of South Denver area, while Chris's tunnel, this Chris was out of commission, we had to go and fly there because the indoor world meet was coming up and we needed to train somewhere, and we were in Colorado, so we kind of contacted them and said, hey, can we come fly there? And we spoke to the manager there on our way out, and that tunnel had opened in 2000. My training was 2005 February, and I believe we opened about June 2005. And the breakage was in 2023. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
2023, and they were replacing their fan blades for the first time in Colorado, the same time that Chris had to get replacement blades for his that had been open for 2 years, or maybe a year and a half.
Those were bad days. Those were bad. JRuss used to come in the tunnel and be like, Chris, it looks like you've lost weight. And I'd just be like, yeah, I'm stressed, man. I haven't eaten in a week. I haven't slept in a week. I've been pulling housings in and out of this damn tunnel. Like, it was just, those were days, man. Those were days.
Dark days.
Wow.
But
when that, give me a little picture of how, like, the carnage from the breakage. Was it really? I mean, did it just I'm imagining that just destroyed.
Yeah.
everything.
So I mean, you work in a tunnel, so you can imagine when a piece of aluminum of any size breaks off at 900 RPM and starts bouncing around inside of fan housing. It breaks all the blades on the fan that it was on, all the way off. It chews up the fiberglass for the ITD. We were lucky it didn't damage our turn 1 turns, but I think in Detroit it did. They had to pull the turn 1 turns out.
Oh, the vanes, like the turning vanes?
Yeah, the turning vanes got damaged. It just makes a mess. And then,
was the actual motor damaged?
The motor has to come out.
It's ruined.
It's been spun at 900 RPM off balance.
Way too fast. Yeah.
And it doesn't have any balance, right? So the axle in the motor's bouncing around, and they have to come out and get rebuilt.
So what about those struts that hold the motor that actually, are those all bent and jacked up too?
They actually didn't. They took some dents, but none of them were unrepairable. None of them had to be replaced. Like, you didn't have to replace the whole housing. They took some dings, but they weren't terribly damaged. But like the mounting bolts get stretched. Like, you're talking about a lot of power and a lot of force in those plans. When
that's what I'm imagining, that it would just be carnage.
They start to not be in balance. You're having a bad day and you're breaking some stuff.
Dang.
You're breaking parts.
I would kind of like to see what it looked like, just because it'd just be impressive. Like, the power of destruction would be impressive.
We have the video somewhere because we were training that day and we were flying when it broke. I will honestly say, not my finest moment as far as mental acuity, because there was a loud bang and we were in the middle of turning block 5, and suddenly we're standing on the net and a cloud of what seemed like sand went up through the center. What it actually was disintegrated fiberglass, and clang, 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 just lots of loud metallic sounds. And my staff and our other 2 teammates kind of made their way out of the tunnel, and I'm just freaking standing there confused, like looking up. And then the tunnel instructor finally grabbed me by the shoulder and was like, do you want to get the fuck out? There's bits of metal coming down and fan blades are twirling down. I was like, yeah, you're right. It's time to go.
Yeah, maybe I should leave.
It's funny, JRuss, when people ask me how dangerous is it? It's not good, right? But in general, the machine is built to pull all that as best it can, pull that debris away, and stuff that slides through gets, because the fans are still spinning, so there's still wind.
Yeah.
Stuff gets pulled up to the turning vanes before it comes down. It's about, I don't know, 8 to 12 seconds before anything like dangerous is coming down to where people are at. And I tell people all the time, if you get hit by something in that moment, you kind of deserve to get hit by it. And JRuss is kind of proof of that. Where you just stand there and looking at it. What does all that stuff come down for?
And Chris, the pieces are coming down were, maybe they're like a foot of chunk fan blades. And like Chris said, like air has momentum. The other fans are still spinning. You can't just stop things. It's not an outdoor tunnel. If you guys, like Frayer probably flew in Orlando way back in the day when it was the old Orlando, when if the power was lost, you came to the net right now. But in a recirc, it doesn't work like that. So luckily those pieces were coming down at a controlled rate, and I had time to get out before something smashed me in the head.
Man,
maybe it would have done some good. I'm not sure. Yeah, so long process, almost a year of being non-operational.
We were down for like 6 weeks, and then they gave us the same faulty design fan set, knowing we were going to get a new designed blade set and hub set, and restricted the amount of power we could use. So we ran for about a year at 80% was the top speed we could run. And even that really wasn't enough. We roasted a fan. Like I said, we roasted a fan, and the second blades broke like 2 days before we were supposed to tear it all apart and put new ones in.
And you had only run at 80%, and it still did that
whole time. Yeah.
Wow, man.
But the new hubs and fan blades are monsters. They are bomb-proof.
So that story segues very nicely into an event that Mr. Frayer is attending coming up pretty soon. Would you like to share that event with us, Mr. Frayer?
The Nationals event? Or
no?
I got a lot of stuff going on. Which event are you talking about?
You've got an event with Constantine.
Oh, we're gonna throw shit out of airplanes, my friend. We are going.
Which Constantine?
Constantine
Constantine that lives down here in San Antonio?
He might.
Constantine's got a very Eastern European last name. Starts with
he's in the military.
Yeah, he is a SF guy.
Constantine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great.
He was just in our tunnel a couple weeks ago.
Yep. Yeah, real good flyer. Super nice guy.
He's putting together.
He's the guy that they threw the car out of the back of the plane. They did the.
We're doing it again.
Yeah, Constantine.
Yeah, we're doing it again.
What are y'all doing?
Max. Yeah.
Does Max Pyro? Yeah, he does Max Pyro.
He did Max Pyro.
Yes. Yeah, Constantine. Okay. Yeah.
Constantine's always, his events bring the danger back.
So what are y'all doing?
Bringing the danger back to skydiving, right? Like he's setting people on fire. He's throwing stuff you shouldn't fly with out of airplanes. He is bringing the danger back.
And what's y'all's event?
We're doing that. That's the week after National, like in November.
You and I know what it is, but Chris does not, and neither does anybody who are listening. So be specific. What are you doing?
So we build objects, go out to a junkyard, find a small car. I'm building a space ball that's, I don't know, 4 feet tall, 250 pounds.
Wait, come on. You got to give us more details than that. What are you making this out of? What's it filled with? What is this?
Actually, funny thing, because this segues great from what we were just talking about. The old nose cones from the hub set that blew up.
Yeah.
I have one of those, and they're round, and that's the bottom of it, and then I built a frame for the top of it to round it out on top.
Yeah.
We didn't take it in the tunnel and fly it and find out exactly how fast it flew, because that would be stupid and dangerous. We would never do something like that, but it's exactly 200 pounds. It's exactly 200 pounds plus the weight of the aluminum in the ball. Put a tail on it, painted it fluorescent green. The world's biggest space ball, man.
And wait, you had to put something inside it, or you didn't need to?
No, I'd add 200 pounds of sand.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't fly fast enough on its own.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be about 250 pounds.
Chris, how do you know?
I didn't put it in the tunnel, so I am not.
I mean,
We'll
there's
never do that,
you
JRuss.
can't. You're not
That
going
kind
to
of
test it like
testing is
that.
just not something you can do
No,
ever.
no, definitely not.
Did do that? No,
Definitely
So
not.
it's going to be perfect because
If you were to guess what speed it would fly at in the tunnel, what speed would it
if
fly
I were to
at?
guess, I would say it flies at 97.3%.
Oh dang!
If I
Oh,
were to guess, it flies at exactly 97.3%.
It's just all your years of experience that give you
And,
that kind
yeah,
of
and if I
wisdom.
were to guess, it's extraordinarily stable, surprisingly stable. I would
but
guess
super fast.
that once it has all that wind on it, you can hold it by like there's a little handle on the side. You can hold it with like one finger, and it just kind of
Move it around,
moves around a little bit. But
dude. When are y'all doing this? I want to jump with this thing. This sounds
uh,
awesome.
we are. That is the week. Let me check the calendar here because again, time is relative at best. It is the week. It's the 17th through the 21st of November.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
okay, how are you launching this thing?
It's got handles on the side of it. You guys are gonna pick it up and throw it out of the back of an airplane,
Okay.
just like that.
Just
Boom,
that
off
easy,
you go.
that simple.
And send it. Yeah,
Skyvan.
yeah. Skyvan, tailgate, huck
So
it
just
out
a couple guys manhandle it out the back,
at the
out
back.
the tailgate, and go.
Yeah. If we have to, I haven't lifted it with the weight in it yet. So we lift it with the weight and it's too much. I'm just gonna go buy like a caster wheel at Home Depot, and just put a big piece of wood on top of the caster wheel, and then set it on that, and we'll roll the whole thing out the back, and then the caster wheel will just go away.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, so it's an insane event, super crazy. They fly all kinds. I've seen model rocket ships they've flown before. Cars, that's the big one. The car is pushing a car out of an airplane that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool shit.
So this is over the desert somewhere?
Yeah, they have a site they call Area 51 out by the Eloy, out by Skydive, Arizona, and that's where they push big things out of airplanes and let them plummet into the ground.
Yeah. That sounds great, man.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm excited to be a part of it. Super stoked. SSK is a part of it. They're sponsoring some of the stuff. So
You have on their T-shirt, don't you?
I do. They're my one and only sponsor.
Nice. That's great.
Adam loves me. I don't know why. Says way more about his psychology than it does about mine.
I don't know either.
That's cool. That sounds like a fun event, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
It's gonna be super fun. Yeah,
and then we have Dynamic Nationals. So JRuss doesn't know
Yeah.
anything about this. He doesn't follow other people's events.
No,
We have Dynamic Nationals the week before.
I know that you have Dynamic Nationals, and what's funny is, I think last year, because you had a VFS comp at the same time.
We
even though
do.
it's
We
not-
have the way we run it is we do the U.S. Body Flight Indoor Nationals for dynamic and freestyle, and then we run a comp right alongside it called the U.S. Open, which is FS VFS.
So that side competition got Rook's attention last year, and he wrote me, a very terse text. Why in the world did you not go to Indoor Nationals? And I was like, that wasn't our Indoor Nationals.
That's not your Indoor Nationals.
You
You should still go though. Why aren't you going?
Smiley face, that checks out.
Why aren't you going, man? You should be there.
Our Indoor, maybe.
Come next year.
If we happen to be home. What are the dates? Tell everybody the dates.
The dates for our Indoor Nationals are the 7th, 8th, and 9th of November.
7, 8, 9 November. Is
That's
there?
like-
I'm gonna type into the chat.
It's like 2
Um,
weeks.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Let's see. Live stream chat message all participants. I'm gonna put in the chat. Chris, how do people follow those scores or keep up with it? Is there a live stream? Is there a Facebook?
The scores will be on In Time, and there
So
will be
that's
a live stream. You'll be able to
in
pick the
time
live
scoring. Is
Was that?
that's not AE anymore? Is it? It's .com now.
stream. In Time.
Timescoring.com. I probably still have it up on my phone from Outdoor Nationals that just happened.
InTimeScoring.com.
Yeah, it used to be .ae or something. So intimescoring.com is where you can check out scores.
And then we'll put a link to the live stream on our Facebook stuff and Instagram.
Okay, so that's I fly Colorado Springs. Oh, that's funny. The message popped up on the screen for me.
I did that. I had made it do that.
Colorado
Fancy.
Springs on Facebook will have a link to the live feed. And cool. Chris, I just saw. I'm in the group chat for the ISC. I don't know what you call it. It's a committee of people, unelected. I was just added to the group of people in the international skydiving community that are trying to just make events better. And the indoor portion of that recently featured a video of you counting to 5, basically.
Oh,
but you're then on the side you've got the 2 other shots so that basically they're simultaneously recording at any one time. And the issue for indoor was that the net cam is very nice as far as the quality for the judging and the grip visibility and all those things, but at the same time very difficult for them to understand when has the team actually left the net, which is the start of scoring. So Chris's system that he's got in Colorado Springs might be setting sort of the standard for video systems in competitions, indoor competitions for the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good system, right? Like, and I spent almost nothing on it, right? Like I did it bargain basement. I've got $520 GoPros, like the cheap as you can get action cameras. And the system works really well. The big push was for two-way, indoor two-way. The way two-way works, it just isn't. It really isn't very good to make flyers fly to a single camera point indoors, right? It's a reason we have videographers. It's a reason two-way MFS videography is probably the hardest video slot to fly, right? Like your team could go from head down to belly, It's not like that indoors, but everything moves a little bit more than it does like in four-way. It's a little less predictable than four-way tends to be. And that's just how it's flown, right? This is part of it. And, we went to nationals last year and we had some issues with some, busts for, the camera couldn't see it. And, we started arguing about it with US Body Flight, like, well, you need to do something better. This is ridiculous. And they were like, well, you just need to train to the camera. And we said, well, where's the camera going to be? And they said, well, we don't know. Well, how do we train to the camera if we don't know where it's going to be? Like, I don't understand this logic. And so I immediately went home and decided that for this year's U.S. Open, that we would do better. That we would put a system together that had a high camera that pointed down into the tunnel and a low camera that pointed up into the tunnel, and they would be 90 degrees off of each other. Because from those two views, there's essentially nothing that gets camera busted. There may be the offset one thing that kind of slips in between that line, but 99% of the stuff you're going to be able to see. And the technology's out there to put the stuff together, and it merges side by side, and it's all synced, and there's no question, and it's very easy to do. I'm not a super tech guy, and I figured it out.
Despite that look of nerdiness.
How I look, super nerdy. You want me to put my reading glasses on too, JRuss?
Yeah, there you go.
You know you need them.
Oh,
you need them. You know you do.
Too. And then we can
see.
We can be.
You've got the same problem as me, that you've got that big glare going on. That's why everybody. I always wear them with like the earpieces up so that the glare is not so bad.
Like that.
Yeah, there you go. See,
that's perfect.
But
yeah, the video system works great. Steph came out and used it. There's a permanent net cam, so no more having to run your camera in and out. It all feeds to the team room. It's easy to use.
Right, put them back on, Chris.
Oh, you got reading glasses too?
There we go,
baby. Readers.
So there's all kinds of old jokes, but you guys are like 15 minutes behind me.
15 minutes behind you.
I can't see anything. Looking at the screen now, too far away. Oh my gosh.
Okay, Chris, one of the things that I was hoping that you would just share your opinion about is a lot of the people who listen to the cast are, I would say, somewhere between new jumpers and maybe 1,000 jumps. Um, and I mean, there's definitely other more experienced people who are listening, but I'd say the bulk of our listeners are in that range. How what would your guidance be? And admittedly, you're a little bit biased. You work in a wind tunnel, but would your guidance be as to how those people should allocate their resources for training? And what are your thoughts about like how much time in the tunnel, how much time in the sky, how much money do I dedicate to flying in Colorado Springs, and how much time do I dedicate to jumping and money?
Oh man, that's a hard question. I think a lot of that boils down to what you're in it for, right? Like why do you skydive? You know, what are you trying to get out of the game? Um, you know, I got sucked into big way early on. As soon as I could fly on my head, I wanted to be on that damn record, and finally did it this year. You know, that was a big moment for me, and I don't think that would have been possible for me without just a shit ton of tunnel time. Yeah, like to tell someone else like how to do that, man, that's rough, right? Like I needed a ton of tunnel time, but I also was willing to spend every penny I had to go skydive. And if I think that's like a bigger question is if you really want to be on this big stuff, you got to commit to being on this big stuff. Like it's not if you want to be a high level four-way VFS team, if you want to be a high level four-way dynamic team, if you want to go to those parties, then it's pretty much what you have to do, right? Like it has to be all encompassing. It has to take over your life, and you got to be a big nerd for the sport. Um, I think that there are things in the tunnel you will learn much faster in the tunnel than you'll learn in the sky. Learning to be stable on your head, you'll absolutely learn that faster in the tunnel than you will in the sky. It will translate pretty well. Exiting an airplane on your head, you will never learn that in the tunnel. It's not going to happen. You are going to put your head in the wrong place over and over and over again until you figure out where the wind's coming from. And then it's going to turn down and feel like the tunnel. But that's something you're going to have to do in the sky. Dives and floats to big formations or to anything, right? Like has to happen in the sky. You can play with it in the tunnel, but you're not going to get the same visual. Um, so I think maybe a fair split between money to skydiving and money to tunnel flying is probably the best place to start, and then going from what you think you need, right? Like if you just seem like you feel really good about floating and diving to to formations or whatever you're trying to do, and that part seems easy, it makes sense. But when someone flies near you, you come off your head, you should probably put a little more time in the tunnel, right? Like you need to be able to come off your head multiple times to get and just keep doing it until you don't come off your head anymore. If you are flying bases on a regular basis, but you're a fairly strong head down flyer, well, then you probably shouldn't be spending a lot of money at the tunnel. You should probably be finding some big way camps to go to and stop going by bases, right? Like, I think
Sorry,
each, go ahead.
hold on. Let me just define that term for people, or you can define it. But fliving generally is a mixture of floating, over floating, and over diving,
Yeah.
either of which is a potentially unsafe situation, but you're approaching the formation either from above or below, and you don't match the speed of the base in time. And so, with a different presentation to the wind and at a pretty high closing speed, you go smoking past the base from one direction or the other into the group that is coming the other way. And that has been a safety issue several times in the past. I don't think it's been tragically bad when we had those things. Knock on some wood there, but it presents a problem during big waves. So just defining that for people.
Can I add just a little bit more detail, just because I have even less experience than you guys, so I know what maybe other people might not. And if I say something wrong, you guys correct me. But so floaters, they're leaving the plane first before the base, and then they are flying as slow as they can to float back up to the base. And if they overfloat, as they're floating up to the base, they go too far and they go past the base. Correct?
Correct.
The
Yeah.
divers, they are leaving after the base, they are diving down, flying as fast as they can to get down to the base. If they fly too fast, too far for too long, they go past the base. And what you just said is the floaters are coming up, the divers are going down. If one or the other goes past the base, now they are running into each other.
Correct.
So I know that is what you said. I just wanted to add a couple more details just in case some of the people listening didn't have the clear picture in their mind. Did I say that correctly? Is that right?
Yeah.
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 So you're mixing, you're saying both of those things at the same time. You're saying fliving, right?
Yeah. Floaters are becoming
both the-
divers, or divers that are becoming floaters.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Chris, Frayer, what do you think of, like, how do you see the future of wind tunnels in the U.S.? What do you think are the possibilities? What do you think are some of the drawbacks? How do you envision the future of tunnel flying in the U.S.?
Man, it's, at franchises, I think the future's bright. Like, I think it's a great. I think the vibes there. I think, you know, Paraclete's been rocking it for years, and that's always a fun place to go to. And Oceanside's always a good time. Like, I think at the franchises, no. I don't think there's a likelihood that that's going to change. I think that is going to stay the same. Franchises generally are run by people who love what we do, want to do it for, they want to make money, but they understand what they're getting into. It's the love of the game. The people there are given, the autonomy and aren't squashed. And I want to make sure everybody understands too. When I say like the culture, I feel like the culture at the corporate tunnels is sometimes lacking. I don't think that comes from the crews that work at the corporate tunnels. I think it comes from, you could only step on somebody so many times before they lose their stoke, right? You can only squash somebody so much before it's just hard for them to dig down and generate that energy.
You're nailing it, bro.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands where that I know where what I think the problems lie. And so I think, at the franchise owners, we don't have that. I don't get stepped on. I don't always get my way. There are times where the owners go, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. But I was heard. I got to say my piece. I felt like they listened. I felt like they had a conversation, and I felt like they just disagreed with me, and that's okay. I don't know that I see anything at the corporate tunnels from, that standpoint changing. I just don't see while I was there, I was told, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And it was just fed so many times, it's going to get better. This is going to make it better. And then it either never happened or the opposite happened. When they did the outside coaching thing, we had a meeting. It was me, Garrett Bloodworth was there. I think Harold was still there at the time. We had a meeting about what coaching was, what defines coaching, because JRuss coaching my four-way VFS team, JRuss is staying in the antechamber going, you need to go that way more. Turn your head more. Is that coaching? That's not coaching as far as I'm concerned. It's not teaching me a new skill. He's telling me where I need to put my body at doing a skill I already know how to do.
Is that the bird, JRuss? Is that, what do I hear?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Got another bird?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. But we had a huge meeting about this, and we laid down what we thought, and it seemed like things were well accepted. And then the policy rolled out 2 weeks later, and it was the exact opposite of what we talked about.
Dude.
I don't even know why I went to the meeting. And so, having gone through a few of those type of situations and having heard about more, I just don't know that there's any catalyst to change that culture, that corporate culture that's kind of there. I just don't know that that's going to change. And as far as like other brands coming in, I have no idea, right? Like, how many times do you hear the patent's running out this year? It's the patent. It's the patent's running. And it's like I've been hearing it since we started flying in tunnels in 2008. And it's the patent, and nothing has ever come of it, and there's always been lawsuits and weirdness, and so I'm not going to speak to that. Um, but I do know that there are tunnels out there where people still love flying, and we can still do the thing we do the way we want to do it. I think the more sport that we can get at those tunnels, the more chance for change there are other places. But I sit in my little bubble and I fly. And I fly with my friends and I do really fun things. I fly with my wife and it's great. I don't want tunnel flying to change as far as I'm concerned. Where I'm at, what I'm doing, I want to keep being just like I am, just like it is. Just keep doing the same thing. JRuss shows up every once in a while, tells me I'm invited to his house, and then leaves. Invites me on a podcast and cancels 4 or 5 times. Steph shows up. She's super nice though. Much nicer than JRuss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Chris, so will you talk just a little bit or share some thoughts about coaching? What makes a good coach? What advice would you give to other coaches? What advice would, like, maybe even specifically to me, like, how can I be a better coach? Maybe even how that connects with organizing, maybe new younger tunnel instructors, like how can I help them be better coaches? Any of that stuff, like what can you share with us that you think might be helpful to people?
So for coaches, I think the biggest thing, if you want to be a really good coach, and I think if you look at all the really good coaches, like the guys that are super good at what they do, they understand that just because they can do something doesn't mean they know how, right? Like just because I can throw a anti-breaker doesn't mean I know how I throw an anti-breaker, right? My legs do a thing and my arms do a thing and my head does a thing, but there are things happening with my body that I can usually do a thing before I really know how I do a thing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And breaking down very specifically how you do a thing, knowing if you're going to coach something that you know exactly how the wind is working, exactly what physics are in play, exactly what parts of your body you're using. I think that's probably the biggest piece that new coaches kind of gloss over. I can fly on my head, so I can coach head down. But then they get in the tunnel with someone who is, they're 6'2", 108 pounds, and they get in the tunnel with someone who's 5'6", 190 pounds, and the physics work a little different for that person because they're a different shape, they're a different size, and a lot of times newer coaches don't know how to deal with that, right? Like, well, this is how I learned it. But I'm just going to keep doing the thing how I learned it. Like I'm going to regurgitate how I learned it to you, and that should just work. And there are broad things that do work for everyone. But when you really break down the how of how flying works, you can make adjustments to like, okay, you need more legs in the wind than I do, or you need to collapse your chest more than I do. So I'm going to need to focus on you collapsing your chest more.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's a big piece of the instructing that people, sometimes gloss over. Just being like a student of how the wind works, exactly what you're feeling, and not rushing into coaching you're not ready for because I can do it. I can fly the whole 4-way VFS dive pool. I should be coaching a VFS team, right? Like that's not me. I've flown a significant amount of VFS, but I'm not a guy who would stand in a tunnel, and unless it was a very, very, very beginner 4-way VFS team, say I'm the guy that should engineer your shit for you and tell you how you should fly it, right? Because the way that would look is I would be like, yeah, cool, yeah, this is how much it is, cool, thanks for the money. Hey, JRuss, how do we engineer this shit? I've got this dive. Can you engineer it for me? I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. And I'd hang up, and I would just take JRuss's shit to them. And we can skip me, the middleman, because JRuss lives in Colorado. Have him or Steph come down and teach him how to do it.
Yeah.
Chris, how do you guys handle, like, you talked about Katie and Mike Brewer being at your tunnel. You talked about Josh Ruiz, Velasco. Who else was in there? You had some heavy hitters that came to visit you guys. Tex. So we had Tex on a couple of years ago or last year.
Yeah, it's been like over 2 years more.
As a tunnel, how do you guys handle it when somebody comes in and says, I'm coaching, but you don't know them?
One, we don't require an IBA like membership to fly experienced flyer time. But we like to see an IBA coach rating if you're going to coach. Required's a strong word. If I talk to you and you seem knowledge, one, there aren't, I mean, I don't know that JRuss, do you know very many coaches you wouldn't know?
Not very many.
Right? Like, yeah, not very many. So when in the off chance that comes up, we have a conversation, right? We talk to the person. So it's like when we started tunnel instructing, right? Like there was no IBA. What did you do? Anybody, experienced flyers, coaches, anybody came in and said, "This is what I'm going to do." The first thing you did was you talked to them about it and see if it smelled like bullshit. Does this pass a smell test? Where was the last time you flew? Where do you fly normally? How often do you fly? Right? Like that's how we do experienced flyers and coaches. Coaches are more like me or Butters or Chad having that conversation, but our instructors with people we don't know coming in to say, "I can fly on my head." Okay, cool. We'll have a conversation. And based on that conversation, we're going to say either, you know what, let me see you fly some head up first. Or maybe, yeah, send it. Like I'm going to stand behind you so you don't trap the wall, but send it. And if you can't fly on your head, understand that I'm going to stop it, right? Like if you flip to your head and try and kill me and you, it's been a little long. You got some rust to knock off. We'll have a different conversation. But generally we take people at their word and try and be respectful of everyone. And if you can do it, awesome. And if you can't, well, then we're going to stop it because it's not safe. But generally, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give you a reason. I'm going to let you give me a reason not to trust you. When you do that, then maybe we'll say, okay, look, no, you can't coach that anymore. Right? Like
it's a pretty famous quote that might fit here from, I think, the Russians back in the day of trust, but verify.
Trust but verify. Yep. Yeah. Trust but verify. And we haven't had any problems. We have had zero problems. Like we haven't had.
I think it's worth pointing out that the franchise tunnel, by and large, have just a much better safety record because they value the employees, because they value the instructors, because there's ongoing training to try and get those instructors to be the best, not only instructors but flyers that they can be, because those guys make the best and safest instructors in the tunnel. And you think about Oceanside or XP or Utah or you guys, instructors that have been there for years and years and years, an incredibly high level of instructing as far as the individual flying and coaching, mentorship in the coaching programs, and that's the culture that that Chris knew was possible, knew had existed, and tried to implement and has successfully implemented at his tunnel. And it is another great the franchises are great places to go with the autonomy and freedom to do what you want to do. It's
we had
really nice
Chris.
option.
We had Zach Vasnick on a few weeks ago. You know Zach at Oceanside?
I do not know Zach.
He's one of the managers over there.
Okay.
So all the stuff that you guys are talking about, and specifically that word that JRuss just said, mentorship. We have a new instructor at our tunnel. He was a CSR for a while. Went and did his FITP. Came back. Great guy. I really like him. Like I'm really glad that he's an instructor now. He's a part of the team. And so kind of part of my role, I'm not the lead, but I'm the most senior instructor at our tunnel. Definitely the most experienced. I'm the only trainer that we have. So I really feel like it's my responsibility and role to really take him under my wing and take care of him and mentor him and train him. So do you mind, what advice, guidance, direction can you maybe give me on how do I help him become a really good instructor? How do I train him, teach him, mentor him? Like what's my role? How much can I do and not do? Like what's up to him? What's up to me? Like, yeah, any of that stuff.
So I think there's a couple of ways to attack this. One, at our tunnel, the responsibility for training is on the person being trained. Or the responsibility for making that happen, right? The request for training is on the person being trained. The trainers unless they have a really good reason, know that saying no to training is not okay. Right? So the way that breaks down is my trainers are not responsible for hunting you down, finding the time that's open, and figuring out when it can happen, and finding you and getting you ready to go and getting and doing all that. They're not responsible for that. They hang out, and if nobody wants to go, if anybody that needs training doesn't want to go find the time to do it, make sure the MOD is okay with it, and the manager's okay with it, doesn't want to do that legwork, then the trainers can just hang out and do nothing, or fly some staff time or whatever in that downtime. But that takes a load off those guys, right? Like they don't have to do that part. And so when someone does come and say, hey, I'm working on this stuff, I got some training, we'd like to do some training, cool. All they have to do is they give their brief, they get in the wind, and they do the training. And so that keeps them fresh, right? They're not overly taxed with me saying, hey, you need to do this, X, Y, and Z, and it's your responsibility to make sure all that happens. And that's a benefit, though, of having the crew we have, right? Like, I don't need any more level 4s. I want them all. I don't need them. I don't need my level 3s to level up to level 4. I'm not pressed for that slot. And I think that's helpful to keep everybody, one, responsible for their own shit, and two, fresh and not feeling like they're loaded down with having to do all this legwork that's not even really their bag, right? And then, communication is huge. We're in a unique situation at the Springs where, let me back up a bit. One, do everything you can do by the book, right? Like, make sure everything you do, you don't take extra risk. You don't stand out of position when you shouldn't, when you could be in the right place, right? Like, if you're going to preach it, you got to do it. And I think that's a big part of it too, right? Like, if you watch me take first timer classes, I'm like the most side body guy in history. And I believe in side body. I think it's the best place to instruct from, but I'm also lazy, right? Like, if you go out in front of somebody, anything could happen. I'm going to have to move real fast. I'm going to have to try real hard to get over there and fix it. Like, that seems like a lot of effort. And so, I have a real easy time looking at someone and being like, get side body. And they can't look at me and be like, well, you were out in front for half that class. What do you mean get side body, right? They look at me and they go, okay, because that's where I stand, right? And I think, making sure people understand that 90% of the battle is that they're standing in the right place. That's most of it, right? If you're standing in the right place, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get your hands on the student. Whether it's shit technique or not, you're going to get your hands on them. And if you got your hands on them, you can do something, right? You can protect that student, even if you blow the technique, the best, most efficient technique. If you were standing in the right spot, there's a good chance you're going to be able to get hands on that student and keep them from getting hurt. Mm-hmm. And then beyond that, there are some things I do that, so as a level, say I'm training a level 4, there are some spots and some techniques and some things that I do that I will specifically tell people that I'm training or people that are new level 4s, you cannot do this. Don't do it. If you want to learn how to do it, we'll have that conversation when you have more experience. But the reason I can do this and you can't is because I've been doing this for over a decade. I've, seen so many different spots and so many, I've just seen a lot. And I over time, I've developed this kind of thing, and you need to have a certain level of awareness. You need to be a little extra with it, and you can't do this. One day you'll be able to. You stick with it. One day we'll let you. But today you can't, right? And we're very clear about those things, right? We're very clear about not just taking another coach's tech. I mean, we steal from everybody, right? Like, nobody's invented any new coaching in like 20 years. We steal it all. But we got to understand why we steal them, right? Like, you want to steal somebody's coaching, don't just do the drill they did. Because if you don't understand why they were doing it, what's the point? You're not teaching your student anything new, right? Same with trainers, right? Like, they're not learning. Your trainee is not going to learn it if they don't understand the why. And some techniques are better left to like level for later times, and but you have to be clear about that. Like when I do interviews with instructors coming to our tunnel, we have this conversation. Like there will be things you see other instructors do that I will tell you can't do until we have had a conversation about it and I understand where you're coming from, that you have the wherewithal to make it safe and that whole deal. So I think those, as a trainer, I think those are the biggest things, right? Like the biggest pieces.
Can I summarize those, Chris? I wrote some things down while you were talking. I just wanted to see if my summary of your. So the first thing sounded like that Chris Fikes needs to do some of these things. Set a structure for the training program.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the person being trained chases you down. They set up the staff time.
Divvy up the load, right? Divvy up.
Yep.
The responsibility of training over both sets of people.
So sort of delineating who's responsible for what in the training scenario. Definitely a leading by example as far as like what you do in the tunnel and being able to practice what you preach. Setting boundaries on what's okay to do during training, what's not okay, basically what's safe for people to do, and then giving continuing guidance on the theory behind what you're doing so that people sort of understand the why of the coaching style or the spot or whatever it is. Does that seem reasonable as summarizing kind of what you said?
Yeah, and also from like a leadership position, right? If you're looking at it from like trainers or leaders, not just lead instructors or leaders, like in our tunnel, trainers are leaders. Everybody that's a higher level than everybody else is a leader to the people that are lower. Everybody across the board, but leaders are not exempt from fucking it up, right? And so any one of my guys in the tunnel should be able to come to me and go, so I saw you do this thing, right? And that seems not like what we talked about. And I should only have two responses to that. My first response could be A, you're absolutely right. I totally shouldn't have done that. I was having a good time and I blew the ring on that high flight. And I just, at that moment, decided I didn't care. And you're absolutely right for calling me out. And I'm going to try and do better. The only other response you should have is, I don't understand what you're calling me out on. Let's go look at the video. And that's it. Those are the only two initial responses that should exist. Right? No, well, fuck you. I didn't do that. Nah, blah, blah, blah. None of that. That shouldn't happen, right? Like everything we do is on video. Let's go look at it. And you'll either be right, or I can explain to you why what I did was okay. But either way, the problem should get solved without anybody feeling like they got shit on and anybody feeling like there are different rules that are unexplained for different people, right? Like I'm okay with different rules for different people. There has to be an explanation for it. Everybody has to understand why. And that's a benefit of a franchise, right? Like I understand, and in this, like you'll very rarely hear me say things like, I understand why Corporate iFly sometimes has some of the rules they do, because they have 30 tunnels. Like if you can't find a really good lead instructor for 30 tunnels, one at every single tunnel, you can have problems if you allow some variance, too much variance in the rules. And I get that. That is a hard bind that they're in. It's not my problem though, right? Like I'm not gonna do things a different way because they have a problem I don't. I have one tunnel to worry about. 13 guys, including me. I can handle that. I can handle this mess with that.
Flip side of that statement, though, where you can make stupid rules at your 30 tunnels that drive away the trainers that you have and the quality staff, and then you hire somebody who was working at McDonald's a week ago, and that's your new lead instructor.
Yeah, and I honestly think that's like there are a lot of rules out there that I feel like I could, if I cared enough and decided I wanted to waste the time on it, could track back to one single bad leadership person at a tunnel. Like great example is the weight limit one, where if you're over 260 or whatever, they have to have two instructors and they walk them in and they put them down on the net. That whole thing.
We don't have to walk them in anymore, but you're right.
But I'm 90% sure what happened was at some tunnel somewhere, some not burly dude had to fly somebody that was like 280 pounds and went to their lead instructor and asked for help. Hey, man, this guy's huge. Can I get some help? And the response was, you're being a bitch. I think that's probably where that rule came from. A bad leadership call from one guy, you're being a little bitch, just go take him. And then something happened. And now all of a sudden there's a rule because this guy wasn't a good enough leader to be like, yeah, dude's huge, man. You're small. You should definitely get some help, right? Like that's how that should have played out. And I don't know that for a fact, but it just feels that way. It feels like that's probably how that happened. And at our tunnel, if someone were to ask you for help and you were to say, nah, you're just being a bitch, you would hit the door. I would open the front door with your head on your way out as I fired you. Right? Like there is no way I would tolerate that. You know, you guys want to throw dukes in the back lot over who ate whose lunch? Go for it, man. I'll sit up front and take bets. But you're going to help each other in the wind tunnel. Like while you're working, if somebody needs help, you're going to help them, and I'm going to help you. You know, like this is how we do it.
You might not think it based on that statement, but the culture at his tunnel is
really crazy, right? I know it's crazy, but it is, man. I mean, it's skydiving.
The culture's good there because they get to have fights over hamburgers out back.
If they want to. They never have, but if they wanted to, sure.
If they wanted to, they could.
If they're having a good time.
Yeah, man. It's all in good fun.
All right, Chris. You know? We're at 1 hour and 20 minutes, and I'm working a military contract this week, so I got to go to bed.
And I got to figure out how I'm going to get up to Colorado Springs and work in this tunnel.
Yeah.
Come on up.
Saying to you. So, Mr. Frayer.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add about your illustrious career, your amazing wife, your tunnel, anything you want to wrap up with? Are you feeling good? That was a lot of information.
It was good. This was great. This was super fun. I had a really good time.
Yeah. We have to have you back on, and you're going to have to show video of dropping your world's biggest space ball sometime.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I'll be stoked to get back on after that if I survive it.
I'll try not to cancel the first 2 attempts and then be late for the 3rd attempt. I'll try.
If I die, you can have Jen on, and she'll show you the video of me dying as I get run over.
That's a fair trade. Similar to me and Steph, Chris has a better half that's way better.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy.
JRuss, that's true of all 3 of us then, I guess.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, I mean, such is life, I guess.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. I think sometimes the universe sends you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, or you will go to prison, you know? Jen keeps me out of prison. I'm pretty sure.
Right on.
Jen and my kid. Yeah.
Or you'll go to prison.
They keep me out of prison.
Or you'll go to prison.
Yeah.
All right, guys. For our listeners out there, you have spent 1 hour and 22 minutes getting a wonderful education.
He didn't say it.
The wind tunnel business. I'm not saying it. About the life and times of my friend Chris Frayer, and you've been generally educated about this sport that we all love to do. So, on the heels of that, hope you listen to this episode. I hope it's nighttime, and then tomorrow you're super excited about going to a wind tunnel. You might try Colorado Springs. It's amazing. There's restaurants all around. There's skiing close by. Lots of hotels. It's a very accommodating area. If you want to try out that tunnel, I promise you that you will enjoy the culture the same way that we do. And yeah, man, get out in the sky and enjoy it with your friends, or even in a wind tunnel. Have a good time with the people that you like flying with. And as always, check out the Crave website and see if you can. For those people who are not aware of this, I don't know who could be not aware of this because we said it a million times, but your brain is unable to tell the difference between what you visualize and what you physically do. And I think there's a study, I'm going to get this a little bit wrong, but there's a study out there where they were teaching free throws. Yep. And they had a guy shoot 50 free throws and then shoot 50 more. He kept training for hours, and the gains were like 94% better. And they had a guy just visualize shooting free throws with good technique, and he was like 93% better. So you get a tiny incremental improvement of actually doing the thing. But if you get on Crave and you look at some of those coaching modules in your spare time, your off season, you will come back to the season a better flyer because your brain will have learned whether you believe that or not.
That's
and
right.
if you didn't, you can come yell at me, and I don't know, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, try out Crave, and their motto is to do more and be better, and that's something that all of us can be thinking about all the time. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with us for an hour. So
Thanks for
thanks
having
for
me,
being
man. It was
here.
great.
Thanks, Chris. That
Chris
was
and
a lot of
Chris,
fun.
yeah, thank you guys. Cool.
All right.
And we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. See ya.